The original Rampage game was simplicity itself, a 1980s arcade cabinet where you play a mutant monster and destroy buildings for points. So how do you turn a coin-munching game with no plot into a $120 million blockbuster starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, high-tech science lab and a genuine emotional subplot? Well, the secret is that Rampage, the game, never apologised for being Rampage, so why should the film? Both of them are exactly what they were, and that's why it actually works. Rampage is one of those films that, on paper, should have been a train wreck. It's based on an arcade game where the entire objective is to turn into a monster and punch skyscrapers until they fall over. Just a trio of kaiju hitting Chicago, literally, like it owes them money. And somehow, the movie action is weirdly solid. It's not amazing or groundbreaking, but it's absolutely better than it had any right to be. All than people, including me, expected. Especially given the track record of these things. I'll admit, when I first heard they were turning Rampage into film, I laughed at the idea. I thought it was some kind of joke, or that I missed something at the time and had not been playing the games. I hadn't. The entire concept stemmed from the original 1986 arcade game, which was built on a deliberate joke. George the Gorilla, Lizard the Lizard and Ralph the Wolf were actually humans transformed by ridiculous science-gone-wrong experiments. So, the obvious question, how do you turn that into a feature film? I mean, it was skating on thin ice anyway. The game, at best, was a thinly veiled way of getting Kong and Godzilla into a video game. You cannot tackle higher from that if you're going to try and turn it into a film. Well, you don't. You throw most of it out the window and rebuild from scratch. The movie keeps the basic idea, the creature types, and everything else is a reinvention. Instead of humans transformed into monsters, it's genetic editing gone wild. The concept of the film is that an evil corporation, Energene, has been experimenting with DNA-altering gas in space. Something goes wrong with one of the experiments, the space station explodes, and some of the DNA-altering gas makes its way back to Earth in the form of canisters. The canisters are scattered across the globe, with one of them landing in the conservation area of George. He's an albino gorilla who's mates with Dwayne Johnson. George begins to change as the gas takes effect. The government want answers, and the evil corporation wants to find out the results. The government wins round one and they take George away for testing. Well, try to at least. On the way to get George tested, they find out about a giant wolf that's been found wreaking havoc. How the wolf gets its name? Well, the internet named him Ralph when videos hit social media.
Weirdos on the internet? They're calling him Ralph.
Because the internets, and that's exactly the kind of thing that would happen. Evil Corporation activates a homing beacon that George and Ralph can detect. George makes his escape and sets off to join Ralph. Cue the carnage as two massively overgrown creatures plough their way through to a heavily populated city of Chicago. And once they do, we meet Lizzie. Or, not Lizzie. She's never named in the script, and she's not the same. She's a crocodile now. Which means that they did in fact get around the Kong and Godzilla thing successfully. They made George a giant albino gorilla and changed Lizzie enough to stop lawyers from getting too excited by it all. This is where the magic and charm lies with Rampage. It's quite clever really. It doesn't pretend the game has anything worth adapting in any meaningful way and just gets on with it. Instead of trying to cram all the creatures in, they chose to focus on George as an emotional anchor. And in giving George the relationship with Dwayne Johnson, they pulled off the smartest decision the movie makes. Because once Chicago starts getting levelled, at least one of the creatures feels like an actual character. And that in turn gives us a genuinely competent Hollywood creature feature wrapped around Dwayne Johnson doing Dwayne Johnson things. It doesn't slow down to explain that science as anything more than evil corporation, did it? It understands exactly what it needs to be. Chaos, carnage, spectacle, and enough personality to keep you watching instead of checking your phone. With Ralph, they pull off another genius move. Because the premise is that the DNA has come from different animals, they've all got different traits, and they make him fly. Which is every bit as stupid and entertaining as it sounds. They do the smart thing, they hang a lantern on it.
Of course the wolf flies.
Again, it's just what people do, and they let us know they're on the joke with the whole thing. Keeping Lizzie hidden till the end, again, smart. She feels like the film's final boss. It's kind of a payoff for those familiar with the game and wondering where she might be. As soon as you see that silhouette in the water, you know what's coming.
Davis, there's something big in the river.
It's a great way to add a nod. The casting helps too. Well, Dwayne Johnson is Dwayne Johnson. I think you either like his thing or you don't. I'm okay with it in these kind of doses. Naomi Harris is steady, if a little underused. She gives the film its one serious character, which, let's be honest, this story doesn't need much of. Which, I guess, is probably why she feels underused. While Ian Ackerman embraces full Saturday morning cartoon villain energy, exactly what she needed to do. And if you're paying attention to a red dress, well, if you know, you know. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, playing the government guy, wanders in like a swaggering cowboy who escaped from an entirely different movie. Or a TV show, I should say. Yeah, he's basically playing Negan in a suit.
Hell of a day, huh? Science experiments falling from the sky. Giant gorilla on the loose. Just the kind of exciting shit we here at the government tend to notice.
It's a good thing. He's delivering his lines like they're improvised in a smoky bar and not written in a studio. It's obvious the cast is on board with the whole joke of it all, and yeah, it's played by everyone exactly as it should be played. Compared to most video game adaptations, Rampage avoids the usual crash and burn mistakes. It doesn't try to graft lore into something that never had any. It doesn't drown itself in exposition. It doesn't fight the premise, it embraces it. Because of that, what we end up with is one of the more watchable, no-nonsense game movies around. It's quite a pleasant surprise given the last time I saw Mr. Johnson doing game adaptations, that was Doom, and that's an entirely different video.
I've got 1 round.
Ah, before I go, one more thing. Our old friend Uwe Boll has his part to play in this story as well. Oh yeah. Despite Rampage being one of the few games with not much plot he didn't try and adapt, he decided at some point to make a series of films called Rampage anyway. They did, well, about as well as his other films, which, well, isn't very well at all. That ain't stopping trying to stick his oar in on this one and try to claim the release of this film would have a negative effect on his own films. Anyway, back in the real world. Rampage shouldn't work, at all. And it does. Rampage succeeds because it embraced the giant gorilla suplexing a crocodile through a skyscraper instead of apologising for it. Rampage knew exactly what it was, and that's why it works so well. That's one lesson Hollywood is still struggling to learn. Just give us the ridiculous stuff, it's all we want. Hopefully someone somewhere is paying attention. If you like this video, drop a like and let me know. Subscribe as well if you want while you're there. Or don't, I'm going to be here anyway. Anyways, I've been Paul and this has been Pixels Popcorn. Thanks for watching.